Well, we're here today with Roger Hargens, who's founder and CEO and kind of the creative genius, if that doesn't embarrass you, of a company called Accumold, which is a very, very successful company in Iowa. And as I understand it, Roger started in a garage.
It did. I had a business partner that was a tool and die maker and a mold maker, and I knew him through other businesses. And yeah, he started, and I joined him right away as an original investor and director, part of the team 30 years ago.
So that would have been 1985 or 86?
85, yes.
So just tell us about Accumold, what you can tell us about it. What do you do? What are how many employees do you have?
Sure. Our company started out in a truck garage, a utility truck garage. And we built our manufacturing modules in there. My business partner had a great idea of how to invent micro molding, what we could do to really solve problems for the high-speed electronics industry to get consistent parts out of very high temperature thermoplastics. So this was the original idea, and we started with that and grew. For the first 15 years we were in a truck garage, and when we moved to our new facility, I was on the board, and then in 1999, we looked at what did we want to do. So we added a couple people to our board of directors, and they decided I should be there to run the company full-time as president and CEO. And we had one of our current people wanted to retire, and then a few years later, my business partner retired as well. So in 2000, I took over as president and CEO of the company. And we moved to a place in the Metro North Business Park in Ankeny across town. Okay. Yeah. So we were no longer landlocked, so we moved into a new facility and optioned all the land around us, all 17 acres. And since then, we've built many buildings on our property. We started with just a few people, and now we're at 334.
Wow, wow, that's quite a success story and a trajectory of growth in a relatively short amount of time. But how did you get there? I mean, you don't come out of the womb thinking about thermoplastics and moldings and all of this. So what's the story behind the story? How did you get interested in this in the first place? How'd that all happen?
Well, I grew up on the farm in western Iowa, and in the middle of 7 boys. So on the farm, you always had to be creative and think about how you can keep things running. Yeah. On the farm, keep the machinery working, make sure all the livestock were squared away. So I think a lot of this came from my early days as a kid with great parents. Taught all 7 of us boys how to, work hard, be honest, and treat people how you want to be treated. But we all liked to work on cars, so we all were kind of gearheads when we were young kids, very young kids. So having a natural inclination to mechanical ability was all of us. We all had that ability. Okay. So as I grew up, graduated from high school.
Which was where? You went
in Western Iowa, Charter Oak Ute High School, a long time ago. Okay. Graduated in 1970. Okay. I wanted to join the Air Force, and I wanted to fly fighter jets, but I had a terrible car accident. It was no fault of my own. It was by another person, and all the money I had saved went to pay for hospital bills, and the Air Force didn't want me anymore. Right. So I graduated at the ripe old age of high school at 17 because I started school young. I left the farm after harvest in the fall of 1970, knew nobody in Des Moines with my 57 Chevy, another one, and $50 and my clothes neatly folded in a car, and came to Des Moines.
Wow. Wow.
In 1970.
So 1970, so 7 boys.
Yep.
Tell me about your mother. I mean, how did she raise 7 boys?
She was a saint.
And we have 3 boys, and that's enough. Now you double that and add 1. It's like...
Well, my mom was a saint. My dad was a gentle giant, a big, tall German, 6'5", very much of a structured person, but very fair. Yeah. And they took great care of all 7 of us. We didn't have a lot as kids, but we had enough. We had our own food. They loved us. They took us to church, and all the right things we got as kids, even though we rebelled like a lot of kids did at those teenage years. And it really served us well through our whole life. So they taught us those core principles of work hard, be honest, and treat people how you want to be treated.
I was going to ask you, so there's always, one of the myths of America is that we're self-made. We're not self-made. We're the products of those important influences in our lives.
Yes.
And clearly your parents were important influences. So they taught you hard work, you know, honesty, you know, faith.
Yes.
As you look back to that portion of your life, are there other people in your life that had similar influences or who added to the work that your parents had done for you and your brothers?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And I would say a couple of key people in high school. One was my football coach. He was an outstanding person, very much of a person that wanted to develop people, and I saw that, and he had faith in us as football players, especially in me, when I was not the biggest guy on the team, but I had to do it all, you know, both sides of the ball, and we had a very successful season because of the whole team. I learned how to be a team player very young.
How's that carried over to what you do today?
I totally believe in being a team player is really the secret to life. You have to really understand, you know, what your skill sets are and how you can continually develop them and hone them and get better, but bring people along as well. I believe that is really the secret, because one person cannot make a company. You know, 334 people make a company, and we're growing way past that. We have 333 outstanding people there.
So when you think of your company, it sounds like you're thinking of it kind of as the leader, as the president and CEO. You're thinking about a way to build that team. So it's about the team. That's without the team, the company's not successful. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely correct. Because we have a smart, hardworking, bright group of people all the way through the business. And people ask me all the time, what is my job? What is my role at Accumold? And I said, my job is to build the team and lead the team. And I really believe that is the secret to success, and developing a collaborative style of leadership from the person that's brand new employee to somebody that's been there 26 years. That's the pieces you got to tie together. And there's a lot of smart, hardworking young folks out there that we have to tap into.
So how do you nurture that collaborative style in your company? So if I were a young millennial, if I'm 20 years old,
yep,
I'm interviewing for you, I'm working for your company, how might I experience collaboration within your culture?
I think the way new people experience it, they see the leadership of the team, of the company, not just me, but the whole top leadership and middle leadership teams. We work together, we trust each other, we respect each other. We build a culture of productivity. You know, and you get that from innovativeness and people that are serious about their job, but enjoy their work at the same time. Someone work a lot of hours to make sure projects get finished on time. But we really have got to make sure we are doing our job right at the top first. If not, you can't expect the new people that are coming in to do it. I think the other thing that we have to recognize is most people want challenges. My age group is different than people that are 40 and different than the millennials. It's different challenges for different people. And we have got to recognize to make sure people understand that everybody wants to be challenged. I did when I was that age group. And the millennials are no different. They want to be challenged. And if we don't challenge them and recognize their skill sets and challenge them, somebody will. They'll self-select out and go find a place, a career path where somebody will challenge them.
So it sounds like you really care about your people. And when you listen to a lot of the stereotypes in the larger media about presidents and CEOs, make it seem like that those of us in those kind of leadership positions really don't care about our people. But when I listen to you, I just hear great passion for your people and for your company. And where did that come from? That certainly isn't the stereotype. And it sounds like when I hear you talk about that company, I mean, that's a place I want to be at because it's an environment I want to be in. Where does that come from?
I think it just comes from I guess over the years I've gone to so much training, you know, and learned. I had some basics as I talked about growing up, but I've always been a person that always wanted, like a sponge. Always wanted to improve myself, learn more about how I can become a better manager, leader, employee, what have you. And I think over time, it's assimilated in me, and it's part of the results I've seen of bringing people along are quite phenomenal. Okay. And I got to tell you another one. It's not just the millennials. We had a gentleman apply with us 9 years ago. Had his plant closed south of Des Moines in Osceola. He was 63, almost 64. He came in and said, I'm a tool maker, and I need some work. You know, would you guys mind hiring me just part-time, 15, 20 hours a week? So I handed him into the tool room and said, you guys talk to this gentleman and see what he says. And he said, oh yeah, we think he can help. We'll give him a try. So at the end of the 90-day introductory period, I said, well, should we keep this gentleman? And they said, what do you mean keep him? Of course we're going to keep him. So we kept him. Then he came in to me 6 months later and said, Roger, I kind of like, my wife likes that I'm making good money again now, and I've already been retired once. But he said, would you mind if I go full time? And I said, well, okay, that's good. So then he wound up working 40 hours a week plus. And then he came in to me when he was ready to turn 65 years old. And he asked me, he said, can I visit with you? And I said, sure. He said, I'm turning 65 in another month, and I want to know if Accumold has a mandatory retirement age. And I said, yes, we do. It's 95. And he thought that was great. He just turned 73 a few weeks ago. Doing fantastic, loving his work, very good to the younger folks, the millennials and the experienced veteran. A great collaborative culture.
They're learning from him, he's learning from them.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, one of my theories about any organization, you know, certainly you're a highly focused organization, and strategic planning is critical. But my argument is culture. The culture of the organization trumps strategy. Yes. Because we can never plan completely perfectly, but the right culture will overcome our deficiencies in planning and respond to whatever the challenge may be. Would you agree with that?
I would totally agree with that. I think we have a culture where we respect people. It's a great work environment. More importantly, we share a lot of data with them. Okay. Tomorrow we're having our quarterly employee meeting where we share how we're doing as a plan, as a company, things that we need initiatives to improve on and what have you. We try to communicate on a very regular basis. But I couldn't agree more. The culture really is why people come to us and why people stay with us.
Yeah. Well, that's very heartening for our millennial audience, because that's, as you know, that's what they respond to. And so we all like to talk about our you know, success stories, et cetera, but the best lessons in life that I've learned are from the mistakes I've made, from the bad decisions I've made or the poor decisions I've made. I guess the way I'd frame this question is, what are some of your hardest lessons that you've learned relative to the topic of leadership that have made you, I'm not asking you to disclose all this stuff, but we learn from hard lessons. What are some of the harder lessons that we can learn from as we begin our careers? How would you respond to that? I
think one of the hardest lessons early on I learned was collaboration. You can't go it alone. No matter, you're one individual, and if you think you're going to change everything, you're wrong. You can have an impact, but learning early how to collaborate with everybody in the organization, no matter if they're the building maintenance all the way up to the CFO. We got to make sure we collaborate. And the other thing right along with that is learning early how to trust others, making sure you're able to hand off, delegate, and trust. Today, we're in a position where I can leave for 2 weeks, as I did this past January. Been in Asia, then in Europe. And we have a leadership team that gets it done every day. We run 24/7, never a question that everything isn't done in a professional, honest, correct way. And that is really important. So learning to trust your leadership team is key.
Sounds like you love what you do. You're passionate about what you do. And you're also a person of faith.
Yes.
And none of us lives forever. Right. We do, but in eternity. What do you want your legacy to be when we're all gone from this life? What are the 3 most important things that you would like to read about yourself?
I think the first thing would be about helping others. I really believe that we're supposed to work hard, be honest, treat people like you want to be treated. And with that means you should earn all you can, save all you can, but the third most important is give all you can. And giving means helping others, as that's one of my biggest things. And making sure that we really do it in a meaningful way, helping others, whether it's for college or in your local community or internationally, you know, where people are very disadvantaged in a lot of areas. The second thing is really make huge advancements in our advanced manufacturing. And what I believe that does for us long term is help people be gainfully employed, not just in our company, but in the whole industry, which lifts the whole industry in America. I really believe that is huge. And the third thing, making sure I took great care of my family.
So Roger, one of the things really good leaders are looking for is they're looking to build their culture and to attract new people. And a lot of our audience are millennials. And so please take this moment, tell our millennial audience about how they can learn more about your company, and if they're interested in doing some more research or applying, how do they go about doing that?
Sure. The easiest way is to apply at our website. Our website's www.accu-mold.com. There's an employment page you click on and go ahead and apply. We're looking for people that really want a career path in advanced manufacturing. It's high-tech manufacturing. We have many different areas. We run 24/7. We have 5 shifts. We're looking for technical people, whether it's automation techs, programmers, tooling, mold people, processing, production, quality. All areas of our business is growing, so feel free to apply. If you're looking for a real challenge, here's a challenge and a career path. Thank you.
Great. Well, Roger, thank you. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you.
I hope that you consider coming to visit the University of Dubuque someday. We've got we're a campus full of millennials, obviously, but we're a campus that our story very much parallels your story as an organization, and as a fellow leader. What I can say is just really the fun is being around people who love what they do and love each other and love being around each other, and who together are doing the impossible. And we think that's what makes the world go round, and it's a privilege for us to be able to talk with you and people like you. And so thank you for your good work, and we look forward to talking again someday, hopefully.
You bet.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.